Okay guys, so I'm just going to show you guys that this short that we took on YM right here, um yeah, really clean trade. If you now pop out a picture right here of the Discord where I sent it, or you know what, we can even show the Discord right here in the Mindvest Discord. Of course, we took along. So we had our daily bias section where we put on the plan. So the plan was for NQ on the 15th of October, as I'm just waiting to see how we reacted the previous day high, and if we reject, I will be looking to go for shorts. And that is exactly what I did. I waited for the previous day high. I actually even tried to long it before the previous day high. Why? Because we had a dump at market open, so I know that was the Judas swing, so I would try to catch longs to the previous day high. We did get stopped here. So if you see this picture, I got stopped right after I got this SMT and CISD. So I had this A plus entry setup. I took it, trying to target up here above the previous day high, and I got stopped right away. It just took us out. After it did that, I should have, or could have entered another entry to go for longs. I didn't right away, but I'll show you the other setup that I took right up here, expecting that previous day high to kind of get. So I had this entry here. As soon as we hit previous day high, I put my stop loss at break even in case it was an instant rejection, but I caught some points after that. So I'll show you both those trades and why I took it, especially on the trading view, because it is super important how to catch these moves and learn how to catch these moves. So let's turn on my camera as well. You can see now even this trade on YM, it's almost hitting my TP, so I partialed there right here. I partialed right here. Even if I were to show you show confirmations of the show chart execution, so there's no fakes or whatever. I shorted 5 contracts at that same level, 46846. If we go in the 5-minute time frame, you'll see why I entered off of here. I'll actually show you on trading view, but I entered right in this area. Partial at 9:30, the market open, and now we're going to target daily open, which is down here, which will be my final TP. And this trade should close me out for around, so you can see here, already closed for 2K, so it should close for around a 7K PNL once we hit it. So other than the trade, so here's the trade actually, so I put it right here. Here is the trade where I shorted YM. We had an SMT on the ties and the 2-stage SMT with this CISD. This is my A plus, again, A plus setup with the bias. And, my TP was already set, right? I told you the main target is London lows or daily open. That's my TP. I'm really fading this up move. I literally calling it beforehand. 4:34 is the exact same time I'm doing it. Updating when it's 100 points, updating when the stop loss is break even, taking what I'm doing. So even like on my MT5, I'm saying I partialed out at the London lows, I'm partially out on my top step, I'm leaving the rest for daily open, So I'm kind of walking through with everyone how I'm trading this, right? So there's no shenanigans, I'm no longer going to be doing daily live streams for Mindvest to actually take these trades. I'm more now just going to be doing this because of the time limitations that I have. Did I even turn on the cam? Oh, I did not turn on the face cam. Here is the face cam now. I hope it doesn't edge the TP. So let's have a look here at the trade I took. So firstly, we're gonna have to have context with the 3 other pairs. Mainly for me was Nasdaq. So why don't we talk over the long that I took on Nasdaq first? And I told you once this high was taken out, we would see this strength change. This is the move that I called it beforehand, because I know I have experience. I know what to expect from these things. Especially, look, when you have a candle, so you have to think about the 4-hour or the profiles, right? The 4-hour session profiles or 6-hour session profiles, right? So we know there's 6 4-hour candles in a day, and there's 4 6-hour candles within a day. So in this case here, right, I had daily open here. I had 1, 2, 3, 4 candles to the upside with no wick, no low of the day. Something that I preach a lot, especially in the Mindvest. You can learn that. in terms of session and daily opens. And then I look at relevant key levels, right? So I had this key level, which was Asia open, midnight open, so Asia highs on Tuesday. And when I looked on the left-hand side, this Asia high was already swept out by the S&P 500, and same as US 30. It's this high right here. They've all swept it out. So this high was, they've all swept it out, and they didn't reject from it, right? So when I have that they don't reject from that high, I know that NQ is the lagging asset and that it will take out this high, and then we can see a new phase of price. This is called asset resynchronization. Again, I didn't learn it. I learned it from someone else. I'll drop their links in the description because it's fair to give credits to where I learned my knowledge from. And wherever they got it from, I don't know. I don't care about that, right? So once we took in that high, I can look for an asset resynchronization. Firstly, let's look at the long that I took to, you could have taken to this all-time high, right? What I had here, again, when you're looking for true reversals, you need a cracking correlation, a PSP or SMT, whatever. So I had a PSP here. Why is this a PSP, right? Precision swing point, because this kind of closed bearish at 330, which is the market open, while here it closed bullish at market open. It closed bullish, and that one closed bearish. So that's my first sign that we have a cracking correlation. What do we get with that? A SMT. Look, this at the 345 candle doesn't get swept. Here it gets swept, right? So here I now have a higher time frame, PSP and SMT, so two-stage cracking correlation. And you get a bullish closure here. So really, at the 10 o'clock candle open, you could have looked for longs, right? This is your 10 o'clock. Sorry, let me just see. Okay, we didn't. So here is the 10 o'clock, right? So how could you have traded this right away? So first things first, after I got that stop, right? It's a high probability trade that I took. I didn't get a 3-minute closure. I took off of a 1 minute. Fair enough. Maybe when I take something for me to learn, when I take 1 minute setups, I should risk less, because then if you get stopped, you wait for the next one. Yeah, so got stopped out right away. But then you had this higher time frame SMT with this candle right here, right? So right here. So you had a higher time frame SMT. If you open and look at the quarter theory, it's a Q2 and Q3 SMT. So it's a sequential SMT as well. So this is really high probability setup. How would I have traded this? It just, again, you enter here at that closure because you inverse the fair value gaps, and you can put your stops here, and then you can take a trade for a 1 to 2, right? Why would I keep my stop loss here? You can get a 1 to 2 out of it, but really, honestly, with this type of entry, and there's another fair value gap here, so really, like, you can't really move your stop loss much. Like, you have to consider this low, especially when you enter right off the bat like that. Another entry you could have taken is after 10 o'clock open, right? So here is 10 o'clock open, expands higher, and then you have this fair value gap tap, right? Once you tap this fair value gap and get the closure above, that's when you can trigger long right here. And once you enter like this, you have to have that stop loss at this 1 minute low, because you're entering off this 1 minute thought process, right? And at this point, you're not going to put your TP here for a 0.44R. What I do is leave the TP open and see what you can get out of it. Do we get a breakout or instant rejection, right? But however, as soon as you tap this high, as soon as you tapped, or so that 1 minute candle, I'll put my stop loss at break even. So in some cases, right, you actually might have just gotten stopped break even right away. I didn't, so I guess in futures it didn't really tap right away. But you would put your stop loss right away to protect in case we fully reverse. You don't want to stop, you don't want to lose money on a trade after a drawn liquidity was hit, right? Because that means that's when you get the resynchronization, which is what we got right now, right? You see prices dumping, but it's after a while, right? So yeah, why was this trade also valid? Because you have to look here at the 1 minute time frame, the same candle on US 30, right? If you look at 6 o'clock, what is it? That same candle. Sorry, I forgot which candle it was at. So 602, right? 602 you have right here. It didn't tap this value gap. So what I'm saying is it closed bullish at 602 and then made a SMT, made a lower low, right? 602 closed bullish and you had an SMT up here. So really this trade is again valid, right? With this low right here. So here you have your SMT, right? This trade's valid. If you got stopped right away, it would have been unfortunate. yeah, and then you kind of just trail your stop loss, right? You keep letting it run, but you know price is gonna reject at some point, right? So you know you just trail your stop loss at the nearest just for value gap, or you just trailed it, right? So I even closed it as this was pumping. I was closing my position out slowly and slowly because I know I'm expecting price to retrace. I am expecting this. So protect my profits, take my profits out, and trail my stop loss very tight. Okay, that is the long that we took. Now, if we look at the short, actually, I need to keep these drawings for my trade recap, so I'll go back to that. If we go to my shorts, right, I marked out daily open because of this slow grind up. Anyways, this is the 4 o'clock candle, closed bullish and didn't sweep out the high. Now, why did I, even though I know that Nasdaq is the weakest pair because it took out this high last, why did I short YM? Because it showed me a lower time frame strength switch, right? So firstly, we took out another high on YM. So, you know, a new key level is being tapped. That's number one. Think about it. The 4-hour profiles, we had 4 candles expansion, and now you get a retracement. It's a slow move up, so daily open is a clean target for today because you're expecting the daily candle to not fully dump anymore, especially at this time of day. You're expecting it to go near daily open or around the previous session liquidity because we don't expect the candle to dump any further for the day. As day traders, you're only catching for the day, right? You are trading for the day, so you look for targets that are within the day. Yeah, so look at this candle at 6 o'clock, the 4 o'clock, I keep saying, so the 4 o'clock my time, which is 10 a.m. New York. This closed bullish, this closed bearish after a key level. So first thing first, I have my step 1, a higher time frame key level being tapped. Step 2, a cracking correlation, this being a PSP, right? You have this whole candle being a PSP. So that's my PSP. And then I have my PSP. Okay, so we have a PSP, and that is my cracking correlation, and that is the signature that I take. So you can see we don't have an SMT, so we don't have a PSP plus SMT. We don't have a 2-stage. We just have a PSP on the higher time frame. However, with this alone is giving me the bearish sign. So even I entered before this candle closed, right? I entered off the 5-minute. Why? Because I got my confirmations on the 5-minute. So even though that PSP wouldn't have been seen on the 1 hour until 4 o'clock closed, on the 5-minute time frame, I already had a lower time frame SMT with Nasdaq being this high here, 605 right here, 610 and 630 being this SMT making a higher high, and here making a lower low, 610 and 620, right? And then I get my 2-stage SMT because this high gets taken out at 630, and it was actually with here, so 630 doesn't get swept on this pair like this, so you can make a lower low, and here you have a higher low, and this is when I get my CSD confirmation. So you get a closure below, so this is your change of state delivery. You have SMT, so this is your protected high. Stop loss should actually have been like right here, so it's actually a 9 RR trade, which is reversing now. You know, it depends, right? So now if I'm going to show you a trade risk management, how I do it is, since I partialed here, if price does not reject from this 5-minute fair value gap and goes back into this range, I'll close my rest of my position. If we retest here and go lower, then, you know, that's what I'll get. But yeah, talking to all you guys, I missed like, it was 100 points that went dumped down and I didn't TP. Anyways, doesn't matter. So yeah, my entry was just a retest on that. Yeah, retest, and it just kept going, right? And I didn't do anything along that. I didn't look for anything else. I just let the price do its thing. Went break even, I think, around here when we were chopping here. Yeah, just went break even then. And then, yeah, TP hit. I hope you learned from it. So important, right? The main key takeaways is how I trade, right? You can hit a higher time frame key level, look for your cracking correlation via a PSP on the higher time frame, SMTs on the lower time frame. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I know that the PSP was on the 1 hour, but was there a 30-minute PSP so you can see it earlier? Wait, what is that? 6:30. I mean, yeah, look, so see, like this is why I use 30-minute and 15-minute, right? So your 1 hour PSP might take a while to get printed, right? But look at Nasdaq, it performs your typical 1, 2, 3 reversal, right? Your your candle 1, candle 2 sweep, and candle 3 and 4 reversal, right? Which I also preached. So yeah, you can see 6 o'clock being bullish and 6:30 being bearish, and the highs being swept right here, right? And if you looked at YM, 6:30, 6 o'clock was also bullish, right? So this is fine. But then 6:30 is where, okay, so there was no PSP. So there's just the SMT, right? So you just have your SMT on the 30-minute. There's no PSP. You'd have to check on the 15-minute time frame maybe. No, so there really isn't no PSP. You can't really see a PSP on the lower time frame like we saw when we pumped up here on the 15-minute. This is a clean PSP that you can easily spot. Yeah, so here there was nothing. That's why even like this is when the 1 hour closure closed and you got this reversal from here and a PSP here, you can look for entries to enter off of at this new candle open, right? Like, don't say it's over, like it barely moved from my entry. You can look for another entry because you're expecting it to expand lower now. You have your confirmations, you have your high time frame key level sweep, you have a bearish closure via a PSP. You had a lower time frame SMT, not a higher time frame one, but you don't expect this candle to take out this high, right? Because this closed bearish, it's the weakest pair. Why would this asset take out the previous hourly high? You wouldn't expect it. You would expect Nasdaq to take it out because it's closed close to the previous candle's closure. You would have expected this candle to take it out, but you don't expect the weakest pair to take out the high. So you could still look for entries on this candle to how to enter. So if we are on the 1 hour time frame with the reversal, you go on the 5-minute. The 5-minute does it give us anything? Personally, for me, it doesn't. Right, I would maybe need to look. This is a continuation block, right? Because price is failing to close above it, and then you get again a new continuation series. Again, I don't classify these continuation series because they have to hit a key level. If there's an SMT here, try to look at 4:50 to 7 o'clock where the candle opens. If there's an SMT, if I look here, 4:50, I mean there is an SMT, so right, this is making a higher high. 4:50, and here closed bullish again up here. It needs to be looked at properly, like it's not the cleanest for me. That's what I'm trying to say, especially all this chop, but you can see how it's respecting opposing candles. Again, another one here, it's taking out highs and then closing below this OB, and you can see how it's respecting it. So it's not hitting. For example, I'm not taking these because I'm not getting what I demand, which is a SMT or a proper order block formation, which is be a swing high. So actually this candle would have been decent to trade, but these ones up here aren't for me. There are cleaner examples, guys, I'm not saying, but you can see how you can trade continuations if you're expecting price to go down. Yeah, but 2 clean trades today. Super happy on how I've taken them. We'll see if TP hits on this. You will see it on our story. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you can keep learning and try to benefit from these videos, especially since I'm taking my time out of my day to do it, especially for free. Yeah, if you want to learn more, if you want to take the trades that I take as well, get daily bias, get some help while you trade, while you learn, have someone on your back, help you. Just check out Mindvest. I think there's a 30% coupon right now that you can use where you can try us out. You have full access to our psychology and the trading videos guide, and access to all the channels, and you can always question me, DM me if you have any questions. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you learned something from this. Quick update on the trade. Yeah, so you can see that same YM trade. I did TP fully now. You can see this beautiful entry and beautiful exits. Nothing was done in hindsight, remember. Share the trade right here at live times. yeah, and that's 10RR right here. We just target the sell side liquidity. You see after we tag daily open, it's still nuked and hit sell side liquidity. And yeah, we also just closed out the trade on my top step. So you can see 11k, nothing to hide, 11k on my top step today. 7 minutes on NQ long. It's over 3 hours in a trade, guys, I stayed in, and you can see it's still nuking heavily. That's another 100 points for my exit. Should have probably leave one position running, but that's fine. I'm happy with the trade that I took. I'm happy with the execution I took. I'm happy with the conviction that I had yet again. You can see how I took this trade. This is nothing in hindsight. I'm doing this live every single day with the real setup. So if you want to learn how to do it like me, check out Mindvest.